All right, everyone. Hey, welcome back to this episode of the Non-Commissioned Officers Association's Commander's Call. I'm Paul Kingsbury, President and National Commander of the Non-Commissioned Officers Association. First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to 2021. I hope everyone had a safe, happy, and healthy holiday season. And here's to hoping that 2020 is better than 21, or 2021 is better than 2020. Although, as we saw in the last couple of days, we've been off to quite a rough start. But regardless, I'm excited for NCOA, and I'm excited to work with the board as we move forward with NCOA to grow and evolve. So before we introduce, and you can see at the bottom, I've got a great guest with me today that's joined the NCOA team. Let me go through a couple updates on what's going on. As you know, we have an ongoing membership drive going on. We're working towards attracting and welcoming 1,000 new members, and we're always interested in retaining the members we have. So if you are an NCOA member and you've been so for a while, I consider every one of us an ambassador and a recruiter for the Non-Commissioned Officers Association. So I definitely need your help, your word of mouth. It can't just be what we push out on the website and Facebook pages as that. So you know what the organization brings, you know the value, you know what we offer with scholarships and disaster relief, advocacy, and all the different things we offer. Get out there and help connect us to that new generation and attract more members. Remember, we got a couple incentives going on. If you get 3 members, you'll get your executive director 3-member coin. But regardless, your personal advocacy for us and ambassadorship is going to help us grow. So speaking of coins, we have a new challenge coin that's out there. You can see it on the Facebook page of the member site. So for a minimum donation of $15, you can get one of those. They look pretty cool. I don't have mine on me right now. I should have had it just to advertise it, but check that out. So if you're into the challenge coin things like most military professionals are, consider getting one and giving a donation to NCOA for that. And then, I was talking to Chief Petty Officer Phil Noe, Coast Guard Chief. He's taking the lead on our NCOA Backbone broadcast podcast. Basically, we're going to get that pushed out this month, probably towards the late of the month. So we'll have the first few episodes. And we'll be stepping off in that space as well of podcasts, and we'll see what we can do with that and grow and use that as another channel of our voice of that 80% of the enlisted force that's out there. So if you're not familiar with NCOA, check out our website. I'll talk more about that at the end. Check out our Facebook pages, get familiar with what we are and what we're doing and what we're after. So, and finally, the most recent NCO Advocate newsletter is out, putting out a lot of good information, and that's a great segue into introducing my next guest. So as many of you have opined when we pulse for things that matter and what you want us to focus on and what our priorities should be, the overwhelming feedback was definitely with legislative affairs and advocacy. As you know, NCOA back in 1960 grew out of that space. We've got that legacy of advocacy and providing a voice for the broader enlisted force across the services, across the veterans, retirees, National Guard, Reserve Force. And we're going to continue to do that. So at this point in time, we got a new presidential administration coming in. We have a new Congress coming in. So we felt it was a great time to, make a change and move in a new direction with our legislative affairs. So we made the decision with the board to bring on a new chief advocacy officer. Before I introduce him, thanks to John Ostrowski for the great work he did, moving us on and taking the baton of what we had and moving it forward. But welcoming Mike Little to the team now as our new chief advocacy officer, and he'll talk a little bit about what that title means and how it's different. But hey, Mike, welcome. We're old shipmates from USS Ronald Reagan. I think you got that on your logo there until we can get you your NCOA shirt. But hey, welcome to the Commanders. Backbone broadcast, Commanders Call. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to bring to the NCOA team.
Hey, Paul, it's great to be here with you and great to be talking to our members and followers of myself and you and everyone else. And before I talk about myself, I want to thank John Ostrowski for, the great work that he did for 6 years. And he and I, we stormed Capitol Hill together a couple of years ago for the Coast Guard when the government left them without a penny in their pocket. Most of them were eating out of food banks and taking high interest loans just to get through. And so he was a great guy. And, he taught me the one thing, always ask the chief, and I will always, consider him a friend and look up for him. So thanks for him for everything he did. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael Little. I'm a 18-year Navy veteran. I served on the USS Ronald Reagan, the USS Tarawa, and then I served in the Navy Reserves for the last 14 years. I was deployed into Iraq and Afghanistan, where I guarded detainees with the 16th MP Airborne, the 300th MP, and the 600th MP. Happy to have worked the National Guard during that time, the Colorado National Guard, the Texas National Guard, the Michigan National Guard. And it was the honor of my life to be an individual augmentee sailor. But, with everything, I came back a little broken, like the rest of us. Suffered a little bit of minor brain injury, suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And I've lost 15 of my shipmates to suicide. And I struggled with my own mental health issues, and I also tried to take my own life. And luckily, I was able to get over that. That led to me fighting the Navy over the way that they were treating service members with PTSD and TBIs back then. And I was able to actually take that horrible situation I went through, and we were able to make a lot of changes in the United States Navy with that. And I've been a proud advocate for veterans ever since. I got my start being an advocate with the VFW, AMVETS, and the American Legion. And it was a buddy of mine that works in DC, Ryan Gallucci, who told me, "You got a story to tell, so go tell it." And he set me up with Leo Shane. We told my story to the nation and Stars and Stripes. And that really motivated me to want to do more and be more of an advocate than I was. I went on, I worked for the New York State Senate for a great state senator, Mark Rassani. And then I moved on from there. When my wife was relocated with the Coast Guard, where she's also enlisted, and we were stationed in Washington, D.C., worked for a military organization for 4 years. I was proud to be their government relations director, was happy to do their legislative advocacy, and for a short time helped with the executive administrations that they needed during a transfer period. I since started my own company. COVID hit me kind of hard, with my wife being on active duty and being a corpsman at the boot camp for Coast Guard. I kind of had to shut down operations. I went on, I worked for the Republican National Committee for the last 8 months, where I advocated to get more veterans to vote. And we were pretty successful in that endeavor. And I felt that I really enjoyed doing that, but nothing brought me more satisfaction than actually advocating for policy changes for my shipmates and my battle buddies. And so when the opportunity presented itself to take this position and help NCOA grow into the future, I couldn't do anything but say yes. So that's a quick story about me. I'm married. My wife's active duty Coast Guard. She's an HS1 in the Coast Guard. She's number 5 on the roster for possibly making chief right now, and we're holding our fingers to have a chief in the family. And then we have two children, William and Mary. I call them my flag officers because they run the house, right? So we got the Admiral. He's my son. He's about 4, and then he's about 5, and then we got my daughter. She's the Commodore, and her name is Mary, and she's about 3. So, I'm a down to earth guy. I like to get to know people. I like to be active in the organizations I'm a part of, and I think I'm going to enjoy working with you as much as you're going to enjoy working with me. But I've already, I've been on board a week now. I've been to a chapter meeting, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more. So that's me in a nutshell, Paul.
All right. You and I first met way back at a U.S. Naval Institute event. Remember when I think I was getting an award for writing something, an essay contest or something. And then, I think you were the only enlisted petty officer there. And I came over, I saw you had those, aviation warfare pin on. We had a conversation. And then that's when I came to learn about this whole legislative, piece and the work you were doing there. And you've continued
I think I took you and dove you in head first, if I remember right into that. I think I took you down to one of the Congress meeting halls and just threw you to the wolves with all the members of Congress talking to you, right?
Yeah, but that's good, right? So that's one of the things you bring. So let's talk a little bit about that. Clearly you've got experience with legislative affairs, you've got connections there. So what else are you going to bring to the team, or what does your experience bring to the team that you can leverage for us?
I think that really speaks to what this position title is, right? So I think NCOA has been really used to having a government relations director for the last several years, but chief advocacy officer, it's a little bit more of an executive type of role. It's going to allow me to help the staff in multifacets, right? So my background for the last several years has been helping with membership development, helping with business development, helping with strategic communications, and my consulting firm actually goes goes through nonprofits and helps them fix themselves. And one of the more proud moments that I have in my professional career is being able to go back to the association that gave so much to me, and that was the Aviation Bosun Mate Association. And we were struggling a couple of years ago, and I'm current. I came on board their board of directors, and we really dove into what it was going to take to change that organization. And we're growing. We're growing that organization, and so I think that this is going to allow me to work with our membership communication, how the membership programs that we're using, developing a better web page, developing better strategic plan for communicating with everybody, how to put those messages out the right way. But at the same time, building that legislative portfolio and that government relations portfolio that's going to really make us stronger on Capitol Hill, stronger in the enlisted fleet or in the enlisted force, and allow us to be that advocate for everybody that's serving and has served as enlisted members. So that's kind of what the chief advocacy officer role is. It's a little bit more than the government relations director, but it's a good opportunity for us to grow.
All right, awesome. And I think you've heard me talk about my lines of effort, and they're NCOA's line of effort. I just help champion them. Obviously advocacy in the legislative space, this membership growth and membership community, and I might be breaking up here, but so I apologize for those issues. And then the opportunity perhaps to grow in an educational professional development way. And then we offer great membership benefits. We've got some work in the space like with our scholarship program and things like that. So as I mentioned early on in other calls, you can have all that stuff and it's great, but if you can't communicate in a modern world, in many cases you're working against yourself. So I really look forward to your proficiency and your ability to help us communicate in this digital age, in this digital space, using these modern tools. And I think you're going to help us connect to that younger generation while staying connected to our older members as well. So I look forward to that. So
one of the things we've already done, Paul, is day one we started an internship program that allowed us to increase our staff, by an additional 20 members. So with previous backgrounds in relations I'd had in the past, I worked to get our internship program up and running. We have 16 interns that are going to be working in government relation, legislative affairs, making sure that we're tracking every congressional hearing, that we're looking at every piece of legislation that comes out. And we're going to start having them put together summaries of all that. And so our communications forward is going to be from us, by us. We have two interns that are currently working to build our new webpage. It's going to be more sleek. It's going to be a little bit easier to use, easier for the staff to use. And then we have a grant writing group, right? We have 2 grant writers that are interning for us right now during their master's program in college. And so already today, I got a couple messages from our grant writers, and they said, hey, we found 10 grants we're going to write for that we qualify for as an organization. So, we're putting in place like a larger infrastructure. We can't afford new staff, but we can definitely go with some go-getting, college students that want that job experience, that want to learn how to do things, and they need this. They need this to be proficient in their job, in their career. And so just like we do in the military, we're teaching, leadership skills to students that are going to go out and tell that story. Hey, how did you end up here? How did you end up knowing how to do all this stuff? Oh, well, I had an internship with the Non-Commissioned Officers Association of the United States, and we advocated for enlisted service members. That's going to give an opportunity for them to maybe interact with a former enlisted member that's running a company somewhere that never heard of us. So, we're already making some large changes at the organization headquarters level that's really going to help us grow to what we need to be going forward.
Awesome. So let's look forward. You and I have talked a lot. We kind of informally, formally, we'll meet with the board later this year or later this month, actually, and kind of you'll
Right.
come on and introduce to them. So kind of what do you like, if you have a vision, or what are the line of efforts you foresee that move forward on over the next year?
So I think there's a lot of lines of effort that we need to be moving forward on, and I'm working with Joe and the other staff members and Terry to kind of identify some of that. And so, step one is continuing on with our legislative affairs, but building on it a little bit more. And so, something that I want to do, specifically is I want people to hear from us. So you don't have time to watch 8 congressional hearings in a week, which may take 3 to 4 hours for them to get through. And so now you're going to be able to review those congressional hearings in our newsletters and everything else. So now instead of watching a 3 or 4 hour hearing, you can read about it in 500 words or less. And you're going to start seeing the legislation that's coming out. So, just today I looked and there was 180 pieces of legislation that was introduced that, related to the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Space Force, the National Guard. I'm sure I missed a branch, and then veterans. And so what we're going to do is we're going to summarize all of those pieces of legislation, and we're going to start sharing with you the most key pieces of legislation. We're going to be focusing on that. So all of our communication coming forward, going, for the future, it's going to be probably a little bit different than you're used to, and it's going to be written by someone on our organization. It's going to be prepared by someone in our organization. And then, of course, we'll also connect you to the Military Times and Stars and Stripes and other things. But it's really going to be about us, and it's going to be from us, and it's going to be how it's affecting us as enlisted service members and in our organization moving forward. And then outside of government relations, and also we're going to join the National Military Veterans Alliance, which is a coalition organization like the TMC, and we're going to stay very active in the TMC as well. But outside of that, we're looking at how can we better communicate with our members. I think we have an issue with our membership program that we're going to be looking at soon. We're developing a new web page that's going to be easier. It's going to be less. It's going to be things are going to be where they need to be at. It's not all going to be in one place. It's going to look a little bit nicer. And then we're also looking to kind of like save some money left and right. So that's those are kind of like my biggest items that I would like to help work with the staff on as we move forward. And I think that we're going to be able to do it. We've already done a lot of it. I've been here for 4 days, and we've already identified quite a few things that we can do differently.
Yeah. And I think, we format some letters to send out to the new administration, the new Congress people, and probably the old ones too, to kind of strengthen and reestablish those relationships as well. And you and I were talking before we started going live, and I think it's important in any of our communications, because I'm really big on our mantra of, hey, if we say we're the voice of the enlisted, and that 80% that makes up a majority of the armed forces, then we got to be able to back that up. So the voice just isn't you going up in front of Congress or having a newsletter, right? The voice is sensing what's out there, what's important to people, what the impacts are, and then bringing that in. And then through people like you and the other connections we have, connecting to decision makers and influence and policy makers, and representing those concerns in a more direct fashion. So I definitely think any communication we have, on what's going on in Capitol Hill should always have a, hey, here's what matters, here's how it impacts you, and here's what we need you to do. So I look forward to, I think you're going to really bring that new communication as we move forward. So kind of stepping off,
I want to hear from, I want to hear from the members, Paul. Okay. This isn't about me. I'm not the voice of the NCOA. I'm just the advocate, that goes forth and does this for us. But like we need to hear from our members also, and so I am always available for our members. I'm always available for our non-members because I would like for you to join our organization. But you can always reach out to me at my email mlittle@ncoausa.org, and I'll be there to listen to you and find out what it is that's concerning you, because
Okay.
this is our organization, and so we need to do
Absolutely.
this together. So I'm looking
Yep.
forward to working with you and Joe and Terry and the rest of the board members, but also like all of our members as a whole. So
Yep.
this can't just be about a couple of us. We need buy-in from all of our members going forward.
Yeah. So, you've been involved in these organizations, work I've done with them, there's definitely challenges, right, to overcome as we transition with a new generation and being connected to a new generation, things like that. So, one thing I think it's important to message is why it's important, is like NCOA and others that do work in this space, and why people should join, right? So what's your stepping off message to those who may not be familiar with NCOA or who are kind of like, hey, what is this thing and what does it do?
Like I'm a proponent of nonprofit organizations and professional organizations, no matter what, because we all bring something to the table that's meaningful for whatever we represent. But I'll tell you, there's no organization like the Non-Commissioned Officers Association, right? Actually, there is. It's the Military Officers Association of America,
Yeah.
and they represent the officer branch of the United States Armed Forces, and we are the voice of the enlisted. And so, we make up 80% of that population. 1.8 million members are enlisted in the United States Armed Forces. 21 million veterans are alive in our country. 80% of them were enlisted. And so that doesn't include our Mustangs and our OCS grads and everyone else that was also enlisted at one point too. So we represent one of the largest voices in the nation. And people ask, like, why should I be a member of this organization? Well, let me tell you, shipmates and battle buddies, you can't unionize in the United States military because it's against the law. But I tell you what, membership in an organization like this is exactly what you need, because we technically are your unofficial union at all times. Who goes out and fights for you to get a pay raise every year? Well, I know the military likes to say that they do it, but the military also can't go to Capitol Hill and say, hey, our guys need a 5% pay raise. Our guys need a 3% pay raise. But our organization can go up there and do exactly that. Our organization can go up and say, there's housing issues in this country. We need to go look at that. The military can't exactly go up and say that. They can't exactly go up and, and say, hey, we got a contract issue here. We can. So if you want to know where your voice can really be heard at, the military does a great job of advocating for us, but they can never advocate for us the way that we need them to. And so they need organizations like ours to make sure that our voices are heard. You can have a commander's call with the chief of naval operations and the chief of the Army, but you could come have a commander's call with us, and we're going to take that directly to the source. We'll take it directly to the Secretary of the Army. We'll take it directly to the Secretary of the Navy. We'll take it directly to members of Congress. We'll take it directly to the White House. That's why you should be a member of these types of organizations. We also offer chapters. We offer, food and fellowship just like everyone else. But the most important thing that we do is we make sure that whenever the Coast Guard doesn't get paid because of a disagreement on Capitol Hill, that we storm Capitol Hill and we fight for those coasties. We fight for those, spouses. And that's exactly what NCOA helped me lead, during the government shutdown. That's why I was so, such a fan of the NCOA, was when we went and stormed Capitol Hill, we did. And, we need to make sure that things like that never happen again.
Absolutely. But stormed it in the right way. Right.
Yeah. We did it peacefully.
Well,
if you look, we actually, we went to Capitol Hill and, we had about 40 or 50, members of all across, different organizations. And we had letters, and we just walked into the offices and we were like, hey, we want to give you our special interest letter. We're families of the United States military, and we're not getting paid, and we'd like to get paid. And staffers would talk to us. We didn't go and, we didn't go and like sit in the hallways. We didn't go and like chant or anything. We went in and we made changes. So before I left, Speaker of the House called. Hey, the Speaker of the House heard you guys are storming Capitol Hill. She wants to meet with you. Mitch McConnell's office called. Hey, the majority leader heard you were on Capitol Hill. We want to meet with you. That's what we need. We need more advocacy like that for our military. Things of the unpeaceful nature, or just doing things to be heard. That's not it. We need to have a strategic plan when we go do that, and that's what NCOA wants to do. We want to take that. We want to take all of our issues. We want to make a strategic plan out of them, and we're going to go storm Capitol Hill the right way. And we're gonna make our voice heard.
Yeah, and I absolutely look forward to you and I've talked about that, using this tool, StreamYard, and this live stream. Maybe you come on and you and I host one together, but taking the input and connecting it with the person, the policy decision, a congressional representative, ideally a congressman themselves. I just think there's great potential here. So I look forward again to working with you. So I think that's kind of about it for today. I just wanted to really use this time to introduce you to it. Like I said, we'll step off. We didn't do a board of directors meeting last month because of the holiday season, but February, I'm looking to put another one of these together, trying to get the new Spacecom SEL and a couple of components senior and listed together to give us an update on what's going on with that and what's going on there. But I'll close it out. So Mike, thanks again for your time. Again, on behalf of all 40,000 members, welcome to the team, and we're glad to have you on board and look forward to what you're going to bring. And just let me know what you need.
Paul, it's an honor of my life to be here. It's the honor of my life to have this job. I would honestly say that, this is like my dream job right here. And, I look forward to growing with this organization and, moving us into a new era. But, I want to hear from you guys. I know some of you weren't going to be able to see this live. Drop any questions you have. In whatever platform you're watching this on. I'll get back with you. I'll answer any questions that you might have. And so I'll monitor this video for the next week, and I'll answer anything you have. Please email me, mlittle, MLITTLE @NCOAUSA.org, and I'll take your questions. But Paul, thank you so much. You're exactly the leader that this organization needs. Joe Terry is where he needs to be. Terry Haynes is the guy that's going to help us make some change happen. So thank you so much to all of you for having faith in me. And, let's go forward and let's do good things.
All right. Awesome. All right. To all our current members, thank you for your ongoing membership and support. For any of you not familiar with with what we are and who we are, come check us out, right? We've got definitely got the website. I've been scrolling that below, www.ncoausa.org. So you can see all our lines of effort, all the things we work on. You can sign up for the NCO Advocate newsletter there. So I'd encourage you to check NCO face page, just search for NCOA USA. And then for members, we have the closed group, NCOA Facebook page too, for the down and in comms. But check out what we've got. We offer a lot, like Mike mentioned. I love that food and fellowship piece. I love the advocacy piece. We have, like I mentioned, we have a disaster relief fund and a scholarship fund that's dedicated for our members and and enlisted service members. And then at the end of the day, just come check us out for a year. It's a $30 investment. Check out what we do. Come join us. Give us your feedback and help us grow and evolve and make us stronger. So. Tina Kish says, thank you, gentlemen. Welcome aboard, Mike. Everett Fike says, looking forward to working with you. And Joe Terry is watching us as well. So, and again, every member out there is an advocate, right? Every member is, you help us recruit, but every member helps support our goals and strengthens our collective voice. So everyone have a safe, productive new year. And then remember, there's strength through unity, and I'll see you next month.
See you all about the fleet.